Hi, everyone. Whew, man, what a week. And I just feel like there are some emotions and some processes that I want to share as I find myself looking for people like me to learn from. How can I become wiser in this context of anti-racism and equality? And I have done a whole lot of opening to people that I haven't sought out before, and people of color, and particularly, I have a lot to learn. And so that's part of what I wanted to share with you guys. So one thing that I do know for sure, and that most of you know about me, is that I feel things deeply. And so it's taken me a while, and I apologize for that. I do know that it's necessary for me to allow myself to process. And I hope those of you who feel that way too will allow yourselves that time. I needed to lean into some of my reactions, and let's just be real. There were some call outs made toward people of a category that I fall into directly, mostly being white women and yoga and wellness professionals. And that stung. And I had to watch myself go through several different reactions and try to lean into them and learn from them. I felt overwhelmed as the protesters took to the streets. I felt defensive as I was being called out. And I felt heartbroken for people who have been treated differently and treated as anything less than human. I have felt hopeless. I have felt lost. And I also know through my mindfulness practices and meditation and movement that when I feel those things, there's something to learn, and that eventually I will gain clarity, or at least be able to entertain the idea of clarity. And I feel, after gathering resources and being part of several webinars and watching some Zoom calls, and I can share what I've used and what I've learned with you. I would love for you to learn from those women, just as I did. One of the things that I know I have to do is I have to take ownership. And just in full disclosure, I think where I've landed with all of that is that I have been negligent. And that's a big word. And if you feel resistance to that, if you feel defensive to that, please look at it. I allowed myself to live in a way that my belief in certain things was enough. And it simply hasn't been, and that's on me. I allowed myself to assume that believing in them was enough because I feel things so deeply, because I feel overwhelmed, because I feel hopeless and heartbroken. I stayed in my lane and I focused on my beliefs, and I think that served me up to a point. And so I acknowledge where I'm at as a starting point, and I know I will grow because that's one of the things that I believe in. So these are some of those beliefs, right? I believe in peace. I believe in humanity. I believe in spirit. I believe in love. I believe in compassion. I believe in joy. And I believe with every cell of my being that all people are worthy of those things. There's nothing that we have to do to earn them. So my call to action and what I'm resonated with is to take steps to help ensure that the world I believe exists becomes a reality for my children, for their children, and for the children beyond that. So continuing to take action steps, and really important action step for me because this is something else that I know. I don't know very much these days, but I do know that I feel deeply, and I do know that I've basically built my career on this idea that if I feel something and I'm human, then some other human out there must feel it. And so I want to offer this to those of you who are in my tribe here. And I know I'm not to misuse that word, right? As I said, I'm learning. But for those of you who might feel the same. So one thing I do know that we don't do enough of is acknowledge what we are doing, right? So our starting point is what we're doing, and we grow from there. I am owning that I've been negligent. I am owning that I have a lot of work to do. I will take those action steps, starting with acknowledging what I've done. And as a wellness professional, one of the most challenging decisions that I've made in my career is to work for independent studios. And I am beyond proud to share that the independent studios that I teach for are invested in inclusivity. They are invested in all lives being welcome and having access to the tools of mindfulness and health that we offer. And also, I offer my trainings independent of any studio. So that makes it more accessible to everyone. And I feel so good about that. I also know that there's a lot more we can do as wellness professionals to be invested in offering our skills to everyone. And that's something I'm really going to focus on. I would love your feedback, your comments. If you need support, how can I help? If you're looking for the resource list, I can send that as well. So leave a comment. And I hope you guys are all taking care of yourselves, taking care of your loved ones, and allowing that circle of loved ones to broaden and diversify more than ever before. Namaste.